We're on to our third video now of looking at different things we can do with these samples. We haven't done anything that we could play melodically yet, but there's an interesting sample here of an elastic band over a plastic bucket. Have a listen. Same plastic bucket that we use for the kick drum. Straight away this looks like a contender. Actually, I think this is the nicest. Ooh. It's just got a nice shape. So I'll use this MIDI track here, and I'm going to get an instrument called Sampler, which is just like simpler with extra features, and it's a bit roomier. Everything's laid out a bit more nicely. Okay, let's go back to here, and I'm going to set up the start markers just like I did when I was dropping the sounds onto the drum slots. So in other words, I'm leaving the loop brackets alone, leave the warp markers alone. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to be particular about this 0 crossing point. If you want to zoom in on that, you can see. Yeah, maybe that should be there. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go with it. Right. So then, one step before I bring it into the sampler, I want to see what pitch it is. Now, I just realized I don't have the tuner device because it hasn't been added to this version of Live yet. Okay, this is going to be a pain. But here's the basic technique beforehand. If you had tuner, you'll be able to drop it onto this audio track. But I'm going to have to do something else. Okay. Here's another way you can check. I'm just going to do it really quickly. Operator, get a bass patch. Let's press. Okay, so basically get down to the octave. Okay, let's have a listen to that. Okay, so that's what note we got. It's G. I think it's a G. Okay. So obviously tuner is going to be a lot simpler. So we're working with the bucket elastic, sampler is here, and then I just drag and drop. And then whatever I figured out the root key of the sample is, I put it in. So let's get a simple pattern going for this. Okay, something offbeat at start. Alright, let's have a listen. Okay, we're not after chart topping hits or anything. Alright, let's go back to our synthesis diagram. We have our sample. What's next? It's going to go to a filter, and then it's going to go to an amplifier. So two things that we're going to shape the frequency content, and then just shape how the sound gets louder or quieter over time. And then we're going to control that with the modulator, which is going to be an LFO, which we may not use. We'll probably just use the envelopes. So, Also, we might want to make it a bit louder. It's a bit wimpy at this stage. So there's the volume control. Now, here's the filter tab. I want to filter envelope. Okay, that's getting there now. If I want it to be louder at the start, I want to have a tail on it, I can have it like that. Now, here's an interesting one here, voice is 6. This means 6 different notes can be played on this at any one time. So, for example, but it's a bass instrument, and basses are usually played monophonically, so let's just put that down to 1. What that means is I can have this long tail here. I'm not worried about it layering over itself. Okay. Cheesy sample-based music. Another quick example of what we just did. Insert a MIDI track. Let's get another sampler. Okay, and we'll use the choir this time. So this is a bit of a laugh recording this.
Right, next one.
Okay, we'll use this bit. Again, I turn off loop. I bring this up here. Bring that to here. Okay. Now, here's a choir there. There's the sampler. Make sure it's visible. I'll drag it down. Now, again, I don't really want to figure out what the key of this is. I think we were aiming for C. We got somewhere about C sharp, I think. Okay, now, straight away, what does this sound like? Oh. Now, something interesting we can do with sounds like this is create a loop in here, so it doesn't get to the part where people start laughing. So this is the loop mode here. If I turn this on, you see I got a loop brackets, just like you do on a clip. Now the trick is find a part that sounds okay. You see playback starts from here, so you still get that rise in, so what you should get is playback and then loop it. And you can even get it to go backwards and forwards inside instead of in a loop, so it goes to there, backwards to there. Sure, that click, that's because we've got some zero crossing problems. We can zoom in, I can increase the size, and you can see if I get that, so I'm on the zero crossing point, and I do the same over this side. Now, this should be a bit smoother. So that's sustain. I can also crossfade it.